that police officers, their first line of duty is service, not even family. What can we do to change that perception? Let's get it from you.
Well, I'd say that's why we are here. As NAPOA,
to demystify.
We bridge the gap between the officers and wananchi. Yeah, but what I normally say is this: if you meet a man outside in what we call in our language civilian clothing, you will not know whether he's an officer or not. So somebody will interact with them freely. He enters a room, go changes, puts on his police uniform, everything changes. The question is why? Because personally, I've never seen an officer who does not come from among us. They all come from among us.
I mean, they have to.
Yes. So, meaning, apart from just as us as their wives, their families are here. Their brothers, their sisters, their cousins, their mothers, their fathers are all Kenyans. So I normally ask myself, then why the enmity with the uniform? And nowadays I say, in fact, one of our mantras says, they are heroes. They are heroes because in this country right now, try and picture just half an hour without any officer holding their turf wherever they are.
One tweet to that just 2 weeks back. What did we see?
In fact, that one, you know, nowadays I tell people, the police service is not your normal officer you see on the streets. There's much more that they do. There's much more than we see. And so if this guy is a hero, they are the reason why we can move from point A to point B. They are the reason why we can get into our homes in the evening after a hard day's work, go to sleep peacefully. Because remember them, they are outside, keeping the peace. Yeah, so at the end of everything, this is somebody who is our brother, our sister. The enmity between the public and an officer, for example, is something I've never come to understand. But I think if we get to understand that these are the people that make us live our lives the way we are living, we have the peace that we have because of the service. We have the freedom to move from point A to point B because of these guys. You know, and you know, nowadays I keep saying, it is not the person you'll meet on the street who is just the officer. In fact, one of the departments that has faced a lot of backlash are the traffic police. But you know, traffic police is just a department in the police service. Yeah.
It's not the entire
It's not
service.
the entire. And even the traffic police, we have traffic policemen who are doing their job. In fact, they are doing their job because even right now, it is still rush hour. Our traffic is moving because there's a traffic police officer standing somewhere. The moment he's not there, chaos. So why don't we give honor to whom honor is due? Just appreciate them. And you know, psychologically we are humans. We thrive when you're praised. We thrive when somebody actually sees the good that you're doing.
And someone appreciates your efforts at the end of the day.
But the trend is that we will see the bad, we will magnify the bad that they do, and not appreciate the little things that they do that actually make our lives run normally. Yeah.
So we need to start changing that. It's a mindset, I should say.
It's a mindset.
Start shifting that kind of mind. So then what do we do, Beryl, in respect to that? Because even it's actually one of those questions that even one of my directors was asking from up there. It's really a mindset. And just as Anne is saying, it's not all police, so we can't really put them in one basket. There's just some few rotten here and there. I mean, that's given. It cuts across everywhere. How do we begin shifting that? So then we start looking at police as someone who gives service, and we appreciate them for what exactly they do as a service.
Because honestly, at times I feel that Kenyans are not being honest, because most of the time it is always the case of public opinion code being too harsh on the police officers. Because when you look at the bomb that happened at, was it the Westlands? where Westgate, where the public relied on police officers to protect them. Everybody wanted protection.
To sit also,
to sit. That was the word I was looking for.
Okay.
And so, at times I feel they're not being honest with themselves, the public, because when you say it's a matter of fighting crime, the thieves, the robbers, these are our brothers and sisters, and the police relies on your information as a person. To share that information, and that was why even the issue of community policing was introduced. You know, your brother is a thief, you know your neighbor is a thief, and you don't want to surrender that information. You expect the police to come and get it out from you. Why can't we develop that approach of also being responsible citizens, so that when I know something bad has happened, I can't trust the police to go and report the incidents? Because we expect them to work, but they're already working in very harsh economic, harsh conditions. We are not able to volunteer information, and that is the best way that they can make the work easier. Number two, when you hear of cases of maybe the public complaining that, oh, there's a robber that was taken in and after 2 days they are released, there's a rule of 24 hours, which means the police cannot hold a suspect for 24 hours without any evidence or without a complainant coming out. So they go and arrest a culprit. Nobody comes out to record the complaints, and after 24 hours they are forced to release the suspect. And now on the other hand, the public will be out there, oh, they are releasing the suspect after being bribed. I think Kenyans just need to appreciate our officers more, because that will, and as the chair said, that will also motivate them to do better. Yes, to do better. And even yes, and that is also why also NAPOA is here, just to be the gap to come through these forums and tell them more about the police and what they do, that they are not as bad. Even in everything, they are always bad apples, but that does not mean that you crucify the whole police force.
I hear you.
Actually, it really demoralizes them.
I hear you.
It demoralizes even their kids, because every now and then it's a police officers does that, and that is somebody's dad, that is somebody's husband, that is somebody's sisters. We expect it's like they drop from the mass. If we say corruption is for both ways. Is the giver and the taker. Why would you tempt a police officer by giving money?
Someone would ask, why then would they ask for that money?
They don't ask. They don't ask. Let us be honest.
You sure they don't ask?
Yes, no, let us be honest on this set.
Okay.
Kenyans are very peculiar.
So this goes both ways.
You are charged with a traffic offense. Na ushakuja afande tutafanya aje? Why don't you just agree to be charged and pay bail? It has to start from us, from the society. Okay. Yeah? We are a population of what? 40 million, 45 million? Yeah? The total number of police officers are what? So the majority are the citizens. So if at all we want to see a change in public perception, it has to start. Even if because you say corruption, we must stop shortcuts. We must stop asking for shortcuts and stop blaming the police officers. We have the best police officers. We have the best police officers. That is a fact.
I hear you.
Yes.
And nakuja Gladys, but before that, I know you've talked about harsh conditions, and maybe this might not be within your purview to discuss deeper, particularly into those remunerations, and I totally understand that. But I just want to pick your brains, particularly on a statement that the president talked about when he was taking oath of office. And I think it has also come up again when he said that he wants to, and he's committing to this, to transfer that budget of the police service from the office of the president, where it normally sat, to the office of the inspector general, saying that this has over time made the police service not to be autonomous or independent as is. So in the long term, what in your analysis would be the impact of this, just transferring and moving it from this office to this office?
I think that will be very, very good for the police officers, because now maybe it will cut on the bureaucracy that maybe used to happen earlier. And now as a force, maybe now they have their own budget, and it's money that is already here, and that will go a long way in affecting everything. So for us as the wife, we are really grateful for that. We are really, really grateful for that, for His Excellency the President and the Deputy President. We are very, very grateful for that.
You've really been economical in that response.
Yes, very, for obvious reason.
I get it. For
obvious reason.
I understand totally and respect that as well.
Yes.
Gladys, pale awali ulikuwa umeongea kuhusu hiyo transfer of police, kama vile kesi yako ilikuwa pelekwa Garissa, wengine Mandera, uko Nairobi, wengine hata Uganda. You know, we are an East African bloc, and also we've seen such kind of cases here and there. So kwa mtazamo wako, ukiangalia the numerous cases tumekuwa tukisikia za either the murder, suicide cases, unaona kama hili ni jambo ambalo pia huwa linachangia?
Hili pia huwa linachangia, maana kuna ofisa anapelekwa mahali ambapo ni pakumu kwake. Juu katikati yao maofisa kuna wengine pia ni wagonjwa. Na anapelekwa mahali hali yake haitakuwa nzuri. Kuna yule ako na sukari, kuna yule ako na pressure, kuna wale wako na asima. Na hizo magonjwa simewapata wakiwa ndani ya kikosi. Haikuwapata wakiwa nje. So wakimpeleka mbali, anaona afadhali awachane na kasi, mwingine ana resign na wacha kasi. Mwingine anaona wacha tu nikufe, juu mahali ninapelekwa badala ya kufanya mambo mengine huko, wacha nikufe. Na hiyo sasa sisi kama wamama tunaona inatudhuru kiasi. Ni vyema hata wazee wetu na madada zetu ambao wamevaa uniform. Unajua saa nyingine tukiwa hapa, wale wadada wamevaa uniform watasema maybe sisi hatujawaangalia. Hapana, tunaangalia kikosi kizima. Na kama wamama kwa Napoa saa hizi tumetengeneza kikundi cha uombezi. Tunaombea our officers. Na katikati ya maofisa tuko na chapels ambazo zimefunguliwa. Na mume wangu ndiye bishop wa chapels Kenya mzima. Ya chapel inamaanisha raia na maaskari tunakuwa pamoja, ili raia wakaweze kuelewa maaskari vile wako watu wazuri, wasio wanaona tu ni watu wabaya. Kwa maana wanapokuja wanapata kwa hii kanisa kuna mwenye amevaa uniform na ameketi pale, na kuna mwingine mwenye si wa uniform na ni raia ambaye ametoka tu kwingine. Kama kanisa yangu niko na wale wanatoka pande zote, ni watoto wa maraia, wengine watoto wa maaskari, wengine ni askari, lakini yote tunaona inasaidia. Kucha mambo ya watu kuua maybe mabibi. Unajua hiyo issue inakuja kwa maana bibi hajajua yeye ni nani. Ndiposo unaona wanakuja vile wenzangu wamesema, mume anakuja unafungua mlango, amepata stress, ameepuka hizo stress. Wewe unapofika unafungua mlango na muuliza unatoka wapi? Wewe ulikuwa tu huko kwa wanawake wengine. Lakini huyu mtu amekuwa kasi, amekuwa na stress. Juu kasi anaweza enda useme anakuja saa 11 jioni na anafika asubuhi saa 11. Kwa maana alichotwa. Huwa tunasema ni kuchotwa. Amechotwa akapitia huko, akaenda kusaidia mahali. Maana polisi sio wengi sana vile. Juu raia tuko wengi. Juu sisi mabibi ya maaskari ni raia. Raia tuko wengi na tunachungwa na maaskari ambao ni wachache. Wengine wako hospitali ni wagonjwa. Hatuwezi hesabu, wengine wamekufa. Ninashukuru serikali yetu. Nashukuru rais wetu. Kwa maana hata saa hii kuna wale ambao watatoka wakuja watusaidie wafili hiyo kapa. Tunashukuru.
Asante sana. And you're already struck for time, Daddy, so you have to cap it at this point. But the good news that this can always be an ongoing conversation. To also just appreciate our police men and women. These ladies and gentlemen in uniform, they equally deserve our respect for the good work they do. Nonetheless, thank you so much for your time. Well appreciated. I have been speaking to Gladys Mesache to my extreme left, who is the family counselor. Right next to her is Beryl Otieno, the country director, and also Anne Owiti just next to me, who's the national chair lady. All this lady coming from the National Police Wives Association, and obviously they have been talking to us about some of these challenges that wives of police officers face and how to move around this and navigate that all together. Good place to end this conversation, and ultimately good morning Kenya as we sit ground for the National Assembly coming in next.